Hey everyone, it's Fuchsia here with a bit of a different video today. This discussion happened during one of my live streams the other night, and I thought it was important to preserve for anyone who might need support. Prompted by the chat, I do detail some of my struggles with bipolar disorder throughout my life, as well as talk about general support. As I say in my streams, I'm a mental health advocate in the Animal Crossing community, and it's really important to me, so discussions like this often come up. The mental health tag is really important to me. I am someone with bipolar disorder and severe anxiety, social and general anxiety, and I talk about it a lot on stream, especially because Animal Crossing helped me deal with a lot of that. So feel free to join on in. You've been struggling with your depression and BPD, not sure what I'm doing. So I will start with that I'm not a mental health professional. So we talk about our experiences, and you are more than welcome to talk about your experiences here. But if you need more professional help, I would urge you to seek out a professional. But you can definitely start to talk about things here for sure, and hopefully maybe we can help you. But yeah, I have struggled a lot my entire life with bipolar disorder, and Animal Crossing helped me a lot. Just, whenever I say that, I feel kind of silly for saying that, but it really did. So okay, do we want this bed or do we want... No, we want the other bed. We definitely want the other bed. Your trigger warning, so I'll not mention. Well, I feel like trigger warnings... Okay, not everyone can talk about trigger warnings. What does the other side look like? Is it just the same? Yes. That was useless. Oh, I can't wait to unlock the Happy Home Designer method of rearranging furniture. But I feel like trigger warnings, as long as there's no one in the chat that's specifically triggered by them, they can be talked about with tact. And not everyone has the same triggers as everyone else. My triggers are very specific to what I've experienced. And they're actually my triggers are actually really specific, and I realized that not a lot of people will understand those triggers from the get-go, and they won't be also they won't think about them to start with. But also, if you talk about them in a respectful way, they don't really... the discussion doesn't trigger me. It's... We're gonna put the pumpkin pie on the floor with the pin. It'll be fine. It's more the discussion around them that makes me more upset than the actual triggers themselves. Does that make sense? You think you need a hospital? Well... There's nothing wrong with needing to go to the hospital or to the doctor or anything, or seeking help in any capacity for mental health issues. Absolutely. If that's what you think you need, then you know yourself really well, and I would urge you to seek that help wherever you can get it. There's a lot of stigma about mental health and mental illness, and there's a lot of obstacles about mental illness, and that sucks. I know that very well. I didn't grow up in an environment where I could actually talk about mental illness or my struggles or anything, and I kind of just suffered in silence. So now I try to talk about it a lot because it's a part of my life. It's always going to be a part of my life. It's there, ideal, but I also want other people to, like, normalize it and know that they can get help for it. So if you think that you need to go to the hospital to get help for your mental illness, for your BPT, and everything, then as long as there's no financial barriers, because those suck as well, I highly suggest that if that's what you feel like you need to do, then you should do that. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but it will help you in the long run, is what it's all about, right? Mental health isn't a shortcut. Like, getting well is not a sprint. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of resources and a lot of support. But if you can at least start on that path, I absolutely encourage it. Speaking as someone who's been there, definitely, like, it was not easy for me to take the first step. And I've taken the first step multiple times. That's the thing. It's not a one time and you're done. It's a multiple times kind of thing. But eventually you'll get there. Dano asks, do you feel comfortable saying what your experience of bipolar is? So, yeah, I feel comfortable. I totally feel comfortable talking about it. I've talked about it on stream, and in communities, before. But so I've exhibited symptoms of bipolar disorder literally my entire life. Like, from when I was an infant. And it was never diagnosed as such. I was, according to my mom, a moody child. And I kind of laugh at that, like, now. But at the time, it did not help me at all. So my mom has in recent years become trying to be more understanding about mental illness. She's not really quite there, but she tries. But when I was growing up, I was the first person in my family to ever show signs of mental illness. And I was very, very alone in that. And because I was alone in that, I tried to kill myself when I was 12. It's not something I talk about a lot, because I was 12. I have thankfully moved on past that, but at the time, it was a really bad place for me. And thankfully, also, when I was 12, I met a wonderful, wonderful group of friends who are still my best friends to this day. And they didn't solve everything for me, but they at least, like, gave me the outlet to talk about how I was feeling, which I really needed at the time. And I didn't really get better. And also, at the time, I knew about depression, but I didn't know about bipolar disorder. This is the thing, like, I didn't know about bipolar disorder, which depression is only one half of the puzzle for depression, for bipolar disorder. Like, depression is half of it. The manic side of it is a completely different beast. And I didn't know anyone with bipolar disorder. Even, like, the friends that I met, like, they knew about depression, and I could talk to them about depression, but they didn't know. Oh, the cafe sign is here. That's cute. Um, but they didn't understand the manic side. And for a long time, the manic side caused more problems for me than the depression side. Like, a lot of problems. um, Even, like, through college, after I was diagnosed, like, people didn't explain, like, this is a part of your, like, manic side of bipolar disorder. Which I wish I had known. Oh, we can get the little cactus. Should we get the cactus, or should we wait for it to be in the tropical? I guess. So, the manic side, for me, it's very impulsive. Like, I like being a little impulsive, but when I am manic, I'm very impulsive in ways that I wouldn't be. And that means, like, I will, like, go from 0 to 100 really quick. About anything, negative or positive, I will go from 0 to 100. And, like, at this point, I can recognize it. I can explain to my friends, like, this is how I might react in a little while, but just deal with it and we'll move on. But at the time, I didn't know. Also, I am really bad with money, which is the thing I wish people had told me about bipolar disorder. People with bipolar disorder are terrible with money management because of our impulsiveness. Like, we will just go out and spend all our money during a manic episode. Like, literally all our money. And it's not, like, overall general irresponsibility. It's just, like, that manic episode. And it's a thing that, like, whenever I talk to bipolar people now, they're like, yeah, I don't have savings because of my manic episodes. And I'm like, yeah, I don't either. I used to have savings, and then I went through 3 years of, like, bipolar mood swings, and I don't have savings anymore. And I also ruined my credit for years. I ruined my credit for 7 years because of my bipolar disorder. So that's, like, how the mania manifests in me. In addition to insomnia, which is a thing I struggle with even if I'm not actually in, like, a manic episode. My body has kind of adjusted to, if I'm really excited about something, like, I don't sleep. Like, if I'm excited about anything, I don't sleep. And it's just, like, after years of, like, the manic cycle and then the bipolar and then the depression cycle, like, the manic cycle, I don't sleep, and then the depression cycle, I sleep all the time. And my body kind of just, like, adjusted to that, but also just, like, if I get excited about anything, my body's like, this is a manic episode. We gotta get ready and not sleep and just go. And even if that's not the case. So that's kind of fun, which I always say, like, when I go to tournaments, when I go to LANs, I don't sleep. And that's not a lie. Like, I don't sleep because I am just too excited and my body is, like, raring to go, and just, like, my body is just like, I can't miss anything. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Everyone is asleep. But my body is just like, I can't miss things. This is too exciting. I can't not do things. And it's, like, a thing that I still haven't really figured out how to deal with. But But yeah, so like I don't sleep at tournaments. I just like however long I'm at tournaments, like 5 days, 4 days, whatever. I just go. That's it. And then I crash when I get home. Yeah, I crash when I come down for it. Yeah, I completely crash. So, hi Kato! How are you tonight? But yeah, so, so I was officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was in college. And it was actually my senior year of college, and that fish just swam right by that. Okay, I will talk to you in a second, Kato, in chat after I catch this fish. But I was really struggling in college. I was really depressed, for a number of reasons that I don't really want to go into detail on stream about, but I was really depressed, and I started seeing a psychologist. And I saw him for a semester, and at the end of the semester, he was like, "You're doing a lot better, but I think you should take some time off from college." And I did. I dropped out for a while on the advice of my psychologist. And I got better. Between seeing a psychologist regularly and taking meds and just like having that diagnosis. I had never had that diagnosis before in my life. I just thought, this is how I am, and I just kind of have to deal with it and suck it up. And because that's how my family treated it. My family was just like, well, oh well. And I was just like, okay, well, I guess that's how it is. And so like my family never was like, oh, you've wanted to die since you were 12. Well, that's normal. They weren't ever like, maybe we should take you to see someone. Like, it was more like, and I don't think it was ill intent or anything on the side of my family. It was more like they had no idea. It was very like obliviousness, but it definitely didn't help me. And it wasn't until college, when I was on my own, I got to see a psychologist on my own, that was when I got a diagnosis and was able to be like, oh, first of all, it's not just depression. Like, bipolar disorder has depression as a part of it, but it's a whole other thing. And also, like, these other things that I experienced that I didn't even tie to, that I didn't tie to bipolar disorder are part of it also, which was kind of like life-altering for me. I am fine. I'm fine, Renee. It's fine. It's fine. But, so that was like my initial kind of story about bipolar disorder. But, and then a few years later, I had a complete mental breakdown. I can't remember if we have to do the public work project first and then the ordinance. I don't really need the ordinance right now, so it's fine. We have like 3 flowers.
We are magic.
Nano, thank you for those 15 minutes in listening to my story and taking an interest in it. All right, we can get requests now. Okay, we're gonna build a bridge, even though they're really expensive. You can do either order. I know you can't pay off the public work project before you do the ordinance, but we're gonna not pay that off today. We don't have that much money. Good night, Shabami. Thank you for hanging out. But yeah, so a few years later, I had kind of a complete mental breakdown, which is when I kind of got really bad, and I also developed anxiety, like really bad anxiety, and I kind of lived as a shut-in for a year and didn't leave my apartment, my house, for like a solid year, and you know, but I've improved since then. Well, this okay is perfect. Look at that! It goes right to the town hall. It's exactly what I wanted. Love it. But yeah, like, up until my diagnosis, I had no idea. Basically, like, first of all, what was going on with me, and second, how to deal with it. So that's why, like, knowing what's going on in your head is really important to me. Diagnoses are really important to me for everyone. And because that's the first piece of the puzzle. You can't figure out how to treat something if you don't know what's going on with it. But unfortunately, like, mental health access is not, like, really accessible. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay.